is an agency right now that could reshape everything you stream, watch, and scroll through. And do you know what it is? Hi, I'm Colton Kaminsky with What Am I Watching News, and if you guessed the FCC, then you'd be correct. So let's take a minute and break it down. The FCC, or the Federal Communication Commission, is an independent agency based out of the US Congress, whose goal it is to regulate communication, whether that's through radio, TV, satellite, cable, wire, or truly anything else you can think of. And their history is actually pretty interesting. See, let's take it back to 1912 with the Titanic tragedy, where radio interference was so catastrophic, the US Congress passed the Radio Act of 1912. This resulted in broadcasters on radio sound waves requiring a license before broadcasting. And this was the first major regulation to the telecommunication industry. This act later became the famous Communications Act of 1934, in which the modern FCC was born, and their three core goals still hold true to this day. First, promoting safety and security for all Americans across the nation. Second, promoting economic prosperity and competition for the telecommunication industry. And finally, promoting the needs and regulations of who gets to broadcast what, where, and how. So who actually runs the FCC? Well, the FCC is typically made up of a 5-person commissioner board, who all serve 5-year-long terms and are appointed by the president and approved by the Senate. But right now, the FCC is currently running at a minimum capacity with only 3 members, those being Chairman Brendan Carr, appointed by Donald Trump. Then we have Commissioner Ana Gomez, appointed by Joe Biden, and the most recent addition, Commissioner Olivia Trustee, once again appointed by Donald Trump. With 2 vacant seats after 2 commissioners resigned just last June, we've seen a lack of nominations to fill these spots. But there's something interesting happening here. See, since the FCC operates under the Communications Act of 1934, it must follow something called the Bipartisan Clause. And this specializes and specifically states that there can only be 3 individuals from the same political party serving on the board of the FCC at a given time. That means that the Trump administration only has 1 more Republican nomination before having to nominate somebody from a different party. This may be why we're seeing a lack of nominations, or it could just be due to governmental backup. What does the FCC actually do right now? Well, the Federal Communication Commission has a long laundry list of things they are dealing with. But I'll break down 3 of the most notable cases that I think you should be made aware of as a media consumer. And we'll break them down in future videos, so if you need more detail, just stay tuned. First, we'll look at equal airtime laws, after the FCC investigated ABC's talk show, The View, dealing with political airtime. Second, we'll look into the Tegna and Nexstar acquisition deal that just got approved and is going to have an impact on local news across the country. And finally, we'll take a look at what I think is the most important, net neutrality laws, after the US court system shot down the FCC's authority to regulate net neutrality, which means internet providers have a say in what you are allowed to see. All of this is to say that as a media consumer within the United States, you are being directly impacted by the FCC's decision, which is why we'll be breaking down those 3 notable cases in the future to learn exactly how they are directly impacting you. But until then, I'm Colton Kaminsky with What Am I Watching News, and make sure you always ask, what am I watching?